Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mark with Limo Marketer, back with another video for you all. And today we're going to be talking about how to get some of your first limo clients. Now, I want to make a huge disclaimer in this. I have never been an Uber driver, I have never been a Lyft driver, and I've never owned a limo company. So how can I talk about this? Well, I currently work with over 120 limo companies. Now, probably at least half of these limo companies were at one point Uber and Lyft drivers. And so I have had countless conversations with these operators. And so I am going to essentially just repeat what they had told me that has worked for them. I always like making this disclaimer just because I don't want to come off like I have been an Uber driver turned into a limo company, but I've had lots of conversations with those people who have done that. All right, so starting off, first off is Facebook groups. So the other day I had an operator, or it was an owner operator, and I believe he was out of Washington, D.C. He wanted to go really big. He wanted to start doing Google ads and have a pretty healthy budget, I believe around $100 a day, which surprised me because most new operators like to start with smaller budgets. Anyways, he realized quickly that he was going to get sold out. And so he asked me, hey, Mark, do you have any connections in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area? And I said, well, I do, and I can give you some names, but here's another thing I want you to do. Go on Facebook, join some Facebook groups. There's a group called Limo Affiliate Network. That's a great one. It's all affiliates in there. You can meet a lot of people. Join our group, Limo Marketing Mastermind. That's where I release a lot of videos and content on how to market your limo business. But what I really recommend is just go on Facebook, do a search for Facebook groups, and just type in limo and see what comes up. You're going to find a lot of groups, and not only can you find companies you can farm out to, but you can also get involved in taking in some farm in work. So if you're looking for a very inexpensive way to get some of your first limo clients, and granted, this won't be the end client, it would be another company hiring you, but I highly recommend joining some Facebook groups and start getting active in them. Because not only are you going to learn a ton, but you can pick up some business in there and it doesn't cost you anything. The next thing I would recommend doing is going and setting up a Google Business Places. So this used to be called Google My Business, but now it's called, or a Google Business Profile, sorry, GBP. And so this is a completely free listing that you can sign up for on Google. Now, you've seen these listings before. Let's say you were to go on your phone right now and search dry cleaner near me. Well, what you'd see when you hit search is you'd see some ads at the top. Then below that, you notice there's a map section, right? There's a little map on the right-hand side, and then there's typically 3 to 4 listings in that map area. So those are Google Business Profiles, and that's a completely free profile to set up. Now, if you're in a competitive area and you want to rank in the top 3, which is extremely valuable, I'm going to be doing a video on that in the next week or two to show you guys how to rank those listings. But once you're in that, this little 3-pack area, your call volume will be tremendous if you're in a competitive market. Now, those of you who aren't in competitive markets, and even if you are, it can still help you get some business. Now, granted, if you're not ranked in the top 3, then someone actually has to click on the map and then actually search on the map. But even if you're number 5, 6, 7, 8, you're going to get some calls, some inquiries. And the beautiful thing is, again, it's free. The only thing it takes is probably 5 to 10 minutes to sign up. And then the most important thing is that you have a legitimate address. You can't use a PO box or a virtual office. You have to use a real legitimate address. And they're really cracking down on these. Some of my clients have even had to shoot a video of their location in order to get their profile approved. These are extremely, extremely valuable because it can bring in so much business. And especially once you're ranked in this 3-pack here, look out. You can get a ton of calls, especially if you're in a highly populated area. Like I said, another video on how to rank those coming soon. So set up that Google Business Profile. Also, set up at Bing Places. So I never see this talked about, and it's too bad because we use Bing ads for most of our clients. If they're in a competitive market, we're using Bing ads because while there's far, far less people searching on Bing, number 1, it costs a lot less per click and per lead. And number 2, those leads have a much higher chance of being a corporate client, and here's why. So a lot of businesses use Microsoft products. They use the Microsoft Edge browser, and they don't even realize they're actually using Bing as a search engine. This happens all the time where I'll listen to a call that one of my clients, received, and they ask, hey, how'd you hear about us? And they'll say Google, and everyone says Google, but many times the person actually found them on Bing. They thought they were on Google because Google is like tissue, or is like Kleenex is to tissue, right? It's what most people think the internet is Google, right? And so definitely set up a Bing Places. This is very similar to a Google Business Profile. It'll probably take you 5 to 10 minutes to set up. I believe you need an address, and there's going to be far less people you're competing with on Bing Places. That's the beauty of it. I mean, if you're in a really competitive area, I would almost recommend setting this up before you set up your Google Business Profile. You should set up both of them because they're free and it doesn't take long, but the Bing Places might even be more valuable. So next, I would say set up a TripAdvisor and a Yelp. So these are both, one is sort of like a travel review site. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it before. I've got clients who get a lot of business from there. Yelp can be a great source of business as well. You have to be careful. They're very strict about their review policies, meaning they don't want you to solicit reviews. But both of those profiles are free to set up and can get you probably a small amount, but a little bit of business. And then going towards stuff you actually have to pay for, there's Google ads and Bing ads. Now, this can be tough because it's very easy to waste a lot of money on Google ads and Bing ads and not get much. I've got a ton of other videos on the channel that show you how to use these platforms to really get the most out of them, making sure you're using the right keywords, negative keywords, ad copy. Make sure you have a landing page where it's very simple for someone to land on the page and find your phone number, find the action you want them to take next, whether that's booking online, whether that's requesting a quote via a one-step form, initiating an online chat. You need to have all of that dialed in to really make this a success because it can be so darn expensive. And if it's done wrong, you'll spend a lot of money getting people calling looking for a taxi or to rent a car, something similar to what you do, but not exactly what you do. So be very careful with that. Now, finally, I have SEO down here, but why do I have these question marks? Well, here's why. So I get this all the time. I'll get a call from someone who is interested in doing Google and Bing ads, and then we get to talking, what are you doing for marketing right now? And they'll many times say, oh, well, I hired someone to do SEO a few months ago, and they're like, but I'm not paying them much. It's only like $200 or $300 a month. And it's really unfortunate because I think so much money is wasted on people that sign up for SEO. They don't really understand what it's about. By the way, there's other videos on this channel where I go into depth on kind of how SEO is done, why it's actually expensive to do correctly. So be sure to check those out. But I hear this all the time. They're not spending much, so they think, hey, it's worth it because it's cheap. Most times it's going to be better for you to not do SEO at all rather than hire someone who isn't really going to do much. And unfortunately, I see it all the time. And the reason it works so well, which I'm going to just call it what it is, it's scamming people. The reason why it's easy to do it with SEO, unfortunately, is because results take so long. So results oftentimes will take 4 to 6 months, even if you're doing everything right. So what happens is they'll be paying for it for 3, 4, 5 months, and they won't notice anything. And they'll never start getting leads, and they'll eventually stop working with that company. That company's made, $1,000, $2,000, not much, but that's kind of what they do, unfortunately. And then the person who paid for the SEO, the operator, they get a little disappointed, and they start to believe that all of these SEO people are scammers. And the reason why SEO is easy to scam people, again, is because it actually does take a while to get results. And they can send you all the things they're doing, but at the end of the day, if you don't understand how SEO works, you're not even going to know if those things are effective. The only way you can really tell is, am I getting more leads? Of course, you want your website to rank higher, but at the end of the day, you're not looking for SEO. I get this all the time. Someone calls me and they're looking for SEO. They think that's what they want, but really what they want is more customers. And so many times I stop them and say, look, do you want SEO or do you want more customers? And then they inevitably always say, well, I just want more customers. And so I tell them, look, if you're a smaller operator doing less than 10 grand a month, less than 20 grand a month, SEO is probably something you should wait on. We start all of our new clients on Google and Bing ads because I know the moment that someone gives us money, I want to get them money back as quickly as possible, because every second that goes by from the moment they give us money, they are wondering deep down, was this a mistake? Are these guys going to just take my money and run? Are they a scam? I've been scammed before. I don't want to get scammed again. And so I know that it's got to be hopefully 7, 8, 9 days from the moment they hand me money to the moment they're getting a phone call and taking a credit card over the phone. That's how I know we've had success is when we can deliver that. And so for you small operators out there, focus on these 5 things. And look, there's other things as well, probably other websites like Wedding Wire, and there's other things you can be doing. But after speaking with tons of operators that started small, doing less than $5,000 a month, many of them, to now they're doing 20, 30, 40, 50. I have one guy over $100,000 a month who started very small. And this is what they started with. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work and it's time. But for those of you that are smaller Uber, Lyft drivers, right now, you don't have the money, but you have the time. And eventually one day you will have the money. And that's when you can start paying for things that take longer really to see a return, but can get you an even better return than these 2 things. Again, it just takes longer and it's expensive. So I'm going to put out a video on SEO as well, kind of like a refresher. I've already got one on the channel of why it's so expensive. Check that out. I also have another video of comparing SEO versus pay-per-click. So be sure to check those out. And by the way, on my last or my second last video, I believe, the corporate clients with pay-per-click got about, I think, 14 or 15 subscribers from that video. Thank you guys so much. There's no better compliment I get than getting a subscriber. So if any of you watching this like this kind of content, I would love to have you as a subscriber. If not, no big deal. Keep watching anyways. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video.